Hello everyone, good morning. This is the new session on basic of servo system. Okay, so in this series I will cover the servo system from the beginning. Okay, it will be not difficult to you in learning. Okay, so I am starting from the basic of servo system. Okay, first, we need to understand about the servo system. Okay, what is a servo system? What is a incremental? What is a absolute system? What is a torque control? What is a speed control? Okay, these things we need to understand. Okay, so for this, first, I will cover the basic theoretical portion of the servo system. So if you are beginner and you want to understand what is the servo, so this video is very good for you. Okay, so just starting from this means content. Okay, so what will cover. Okay, so in the content, so introduction of the servo system, application of the servo system component, servo principle and structure, advantages of servo system, component of positioning control, and type of encoders, and servo system, absolute and incremental system, and servo system positioning, absolute and incremental. Okay, these two are different thing. Do not confuse in these things. Okay, one is a servo system is a absolute and incremental. Okay, and this is servo system positioning, this is about the positioning. Okay, so absolute and incremental positioning, and I am request to you, please do not skip video. Okay, otherwise many point you miss in this video. Okay, so about the introduction, so what is a servo mechanism? So it is a traditional term applied to describe a closed loop electromechanical control system that direct the precision movement of the physical objects such as radar, antenna, robot arm, or machine tools. Typically, either of the output positioning or the output velocity is controlled. Okay, so mechanism is a closed loop system. Okay, so whatever you control means if you want to control the speed control or position control or torque control, but the feedback is required. Same thing you can achieve in the in drive also. Okay, VFD also. Okay, now the latest VFD also control the torque control, position control, and speed control. But talk about the precision. So precision is precision can be achieved using the servo system, and there are the many advantage apart from this using the VFD as a servo. But servo motor is a special function. Okay, so do not compare. Do not more compare with the VFD, because some VFD they have it has own function, so that. Okay, so either output positioning or the output velocity is controlled. Okay, not position and velocity, but we can control the torque control. Okay, so this is the definition. So in introduction about the servo system, so three main thing of the servo system. One is the position control, means we can achieve the positioning. For example, this is the right before the stop position, and it is the stop as the just the right stop. Okay, so which distance is required? How much distance you want to move from one place to another place. Okay, means you want to move some object from the particular position, so it is possible using the position control. Okay, so this is the position control. So it is uh, matter about the distance. Okay, now the speed control, you want to complete this position, but in which speed? Okay, so also you can control the speed. So without position control you can also run in the speed control mode. Okay, so this is the speed control mode. So you can run the 100 mm per minute, 200 mm per minute, as per your requirement you can run. Okay, but it is depend on the capacity of servo motor and servo drive. Okay, so you can achieve the speed control only. Position control, speed control, both you can achieve, but apart from the position control, individually speed control is possible. Okay, so this is speed control achieve. Then torque control. So torque control, servo accurately control the torque even the load change. Okay, so whatever you torque requirement, that torque you can achieve. But for the torque control, the selection should be good. Okay, the selection should be okay. Otherwise, so if any mid selection, if you select the wrong servo, okay, according to for the torque control, so it may possible to some problems during the commissioning time. Okay, so you need to check all the mechanicals data and calculate the accurate torque and select according to your servo. Okay, so this is a torque control. So three things we can achieve from this servo system: position control, speed control, and torque control. Okay, so there are number of application that we can use the servo. Okay, so transport application, winding machinery application, food production application, semiconductor application, injection molding application, electronic component assembly application. So number of applications available. So this is the picture of transport machine, vertical machine. This is the automated warehouse packaging systems. Food product application, okay, widely used in filling machine line and packaging machine line, and the winding machinery line. Okay, so this is the winding machinery line, and semiconductor application and injection molding application. So there are the number of application of the servo system. Okay, so about the component. So there are the three components available in the servo system. So first with the command section. The command section, this section output operation command signal. Okay, so our a command section is a controller, means our PLC, its command means in which how much speed you want to run the servo motors, position means torque. So everything we need to define the in the controller, means in PLC. Okay, so this is the command section. The second is a control section, controller section. So controller section provide the connectivity between the command section and the servo motors. Okay, so it will provide the connectivity. Okay, so this section move the motor and other part in accordance with the command. So controller will drive the servo motor on what base? So based on the controller command. Okay, and it will another work is it is also take the feedback from the servo system. Okay, so servo amplifier work to give the command to the servo motor and take the feedback from the servo amplifier via encoder. Okay, and last one is drive and detector section. So this is the driver and detector section. So this section drives the control target and detect the status of the target. Okay, so servo motor not decide to how much speed I want to run or any position. So everything will decide the controller, and this according to that it will give the command to servo amplifier, and servo amplifier will give the command to servo motor. Okay, so according that servo motor will run and give the feedback from the backside, means from the encoder. Okay, so this is the servo system most important component, controller, servo amplifier, and servo motor. Okay, so this is the one kind of the feedback system. Okay, so whatever the command value you are giving, okay, so this command value and feedback value will compare and try to correct this error. Okay, and every time it will try to minimize this error. Okay, so this is the servo principle and structure. So about the structure, so this is the block diagram of the servo system. So commercial power supply. So it is our three phase or two phase, whatever the requirement of the servo amplifier. According to that, you can give. Okay, so converter. So alternating current to convert in the DC current. Okay, then smoothing circuit for the pure DC, and then again the inverter section. This section is almost we have data. Okay, one is CT is here. So CT CT is important for the torque control because current will calculate on the base of the torque is calculated based on the current. So current will be feedback to here. Okay, so it will be whenever you give the command or any torque mode, so it will take the feedback from the CT. Okay, from the CT. Okay, and then servo motor. So encoder give the feedback pulse. So encoder two main things. One, it will give the speed, and second is the position. Okay, so torque control via this CT, position and speed control via the encoder feedback. Okay, so the encoder will feedback come to the in deviation counter, and it will be uh, it will be compare miss command devices, and encoder feedback pulse calculated, and according to that it will give the output to the next section. Okay, so for example, you are giving the 100 pulse. Okay, 100 pulse, 100 pulse. Okay, so 100 pulse inverter will section will just send to 100 pulse to servo motor. Okay, and encoder will give the feedback to the deviation counter. And whenever the 100 pulse is completed, so servo motor will be stopped. Okay, so here the some theoretically is available. Okay, so this is the servo principle and structure. Okay, so about the, I already told you servo control loop. So one is a position loop, second is a speed loop, third is a current loop. Okay, so position loop, this is loop which control the position by using the position feedback signal from generated from the encoder pulse. Okay, so position loop generate from the encoder pulse. Speed loop, so this is the loop which control the speed using the speed feedback signal generated from the encoder pulse. It is also generated from the encoder pulse. And current loop, this is loop which control torque by using the current feedback signal generated from the detection of the servo amplifier current. Okay, so this is the three main loop of the servo system. Okay, and what is the advantage of the AC servo system? So target or position profile can easily can be changed by the program. So if you want to change the position and speed, so you can change easily by the program. AC servo system are easy to handle than hydraulic equipment. Definitely, that is it is a very small in the small in size compared to hydraulic system. AC servo system can generate the large torque. It can be satisfy the need for the downsizing and high power. So servo system generate the large torque with small size. So it is a big advantage of release from the management. Obviously, release from the dangerous, hard and dirty working environment. Smaller size and better accuracy have made AC servo more suitable for the robotics and mechatronics. Okay, and now already I told you component of position control and then role. Okay, so what is a position controller? So output of the positioning speed and the movement quantity in form of the command pulse to the servo amplifier. Transfer signal between the programmable logic controller and control return to the 0 point. And servo amplifier, so rectify the AC power of the main circuit into the DC power in the converter and smooth it in smoothing circuit. When DC power is converted into the AC power in the inverter, the current supply to the servo motor is changed by the PWM, means pulse width modulation, control in the control circuit. And the deviation counter receive and count the command pulse from the positioning controller and subtract the feedback pulse from them, and then drive the servo motor until the accumulated pulse number become a zero. Okay, and the servo motors so dedicated to high speed response, optimal to positioning control, and has a large start torque, large maximum torque, and widely variable speed range available. Okay, so this is the main three component of the servo system. Okay, and about the encoder, so one encoder is a rotary encoder, means incremental encoder. So incremental encoder device that simply output on a pulse by the rotation of the axis. Okay, simple on off. One phase type, only a pulse, and do not indicate that the rotation. If the encoder is only one phase, so you cannot judge the direction of the motor. In two phase type output A and B train, it can be just judge the rotation direction. Using the two-phase type encoder, we can judge the direction. Means motor can judge the direction. This is the forward direction or revert direction. But how? The direction judged to be forward if the B pulse train turns on when A is on, and judged to reverse if A turns on when B is on. Okay, in that case, we can the judge the direction is forward or reverse. There is also another type incremental encoder with zero signal. Zero signal means it give the signal every one revolution. Okay. The most commonly used incremental encoder output, this is the pulses, 100 to 262 144 pulses per axis rotation. So this is the axis number of pulse of one rotation. So your pulse is high means your accuracy is high. Okay, so this is the incremental encoder. And one more thing, uh, and means position data. It cannot store the position data. Okay, so if you want to start, so every time you need to uh, perform the home position during power on off condition. Okay, about the absolute encoder. Okay, so rotary encoder absolute. So this is the detect the enable the that angle data between one motor rotation to be output to an external destination. Absolute encoder are generally able to output 360 in 80 to 12 bits. किसो पेलो स्विच चालू करा. Incremental encoder have disadvantage in that axis position is lost when the power failure power failure occur. फटा फटाफट जा बंदे ही जैसे मारो. Okay, so incremental encoder have disadvantage in that axis position is lost when a power failure occurs. This is the disadvantage of the incremental encoder. But in absolute encoder, however, the absolute encoder, the axis position is not lost even when the power failure occurs. So this is the main advantage of absolute encoder. So your position will not lost. Okay, and do not require every time to home position during power on off condition. So various codes such as binary code and BCD code can be output. Absolute encoder are more expensive, more accurate, and larger than the incremental encoder. This is the main disadvantage. Absolute encoder is more expensive compared to incremental encoder. Okay, so this is the photo of the absolute encoder. Okay, now about the absolute and incremental servo system. Okay, so absolute servo system, so servo motor with the absolute type encoder. Okay, so this is about the servo system, not positioning, about the servo system. So if you want to, uh, if you want to, miss, what we can say, you want to hold your position during power on off condition. So that time you need to require absolute servo system. So in absolute servo system, you do not require to home position during power on off condition. Okay, so for that purpose you can use the absolute servo system. So servo motor are with absolute type encoder. Encoder store the position status during the power off condition using the register and battery backup. Manual movement of the motor during the power off condition is not lost. Homing is done during the startups. Okay, one time commissioning time you need to do homing, otherwise not required. Mitsubishi MRJ4 and MRJ3 series are absolute servo system. So about the Mitsubishi, so this is the servo system, this is the absolute system. Incremental servo system, so servo motor are with the incremental type encoder. Okay, incremental type encoder, and servo motor are with the absolute type encoder but without a battery. Okay, in some servos, if you are not connecting battery, so it will work as a incremental encoder, but your servo system is absolute but not battery connected, so it will work as a incremental encoder. Homing is required every power on of startup condition. Okay, every time you need to do homing, means power on to off to on, that time required. So example MRJE type servo in Mitsubishi MRJE type servo is a incremental type servo. But if you are using MRJ4B type servo amplifier but without battery, so it will also work as an incremental type system. Okay, so absolute position. So there are two type of the positioning, also two type. Positioning also absolute type position and incremental type position. Okay, so in absolute position system, so absolute address is specified for the position while the 0 point is regarding as the reference. The start point is arbitrary. Okay, so what will happen in absolute position? So this is the position, huh? So in incremental servo, you can also achieve this absolute position. Okay, so this is the 0 point. Now you are giving the command 100 mm. So it will be run 100 mm. Okay, and another time if you give the 150 command, so it will not move 100, but it will move only 50 mm. Okay, because 100 mm already achieved, so remaining 50 mm it will be cover. This is the absolute position method. Okay, and and uh, uh, whenever give you zero command from here. Okay, now you are on point B, 150 mm, and you whenever you give the zero command, so what will be happen, it will be run in reverse direction and try to achieve the 0 point. Okay, so this is the absolute position method. And again you give the 300, so it will be move the 300 mm. Okay, and again you give the 150 mm, so what will be happen, it will be run from 300 to up to 150 mm. Okay, so this is the absolute positioning method. In absolute positioning method, the servo amplifier remind the last value. Okay, whatever value in buffer, it will be stored, and according to that it will be move. Okay, so this is the absolute positioning method. Okay, now incremental position method. So incremental position method is different, means what will be happen, so this 0 point, 100 point and 150, you are also perform incremental position method in absolute servo system. Okay, so what will be happen, so whenever you you are in zero position. Okay, and you give the command 100 points, so it will be move 100 mm. Okay, and you give the another time 100 mm command, so it will be again move to 100 mm. So the last point it will be considered as a zero. Okay, so every time it will be considered the last value is zero. Okay, so according to that it will be move. Okay, so for example, I want to move 150 from here. Okay, so this position it will be considered as a zero. Okay, and you want to you want to run in reverse direction, so that time you will have to give the minus value. Okay, so minus 100 it will be move, then again you will give the minus 150, so again it will be move 150. So in incremental position, the last position it will be considered as a zero. Okay, so remember these two things. Okay, absolute position and incremental position. And in servo system in absolute servo system and incremental servo system. Okay, this both the position, incremental position and absolute position, you can perform incremental servo and absolute servo also. Okay. Okay, so this is from my side. I hope you understand this theory, and this is very important for the beginners. So I hope your doubt is clear in this theory. Okay, so thank you so much for attending this training. So I will next cover. I will give the introduction about the servo amplifier. Okay, servo amplifier. So okay, and then program positioning and velocity mode and torque mode. Okay, everything I will cover, but this is the start. This is the start from the here, means beginning. Okay, so please like this video. I need motivation from your making video. Okay, and please subscribe the channel, do not forget to subscribe. Okay, and yeah, share this video to those person as per your as per the requirement. Okay, so thank you so much for attending this video. We will meet you in next video. Thank you, take care, and bye.